quick Sunday look at some stuff on the charts. I haven't done a video for a while or an update, but we'll just have a quick look because I've just been sticking to the old pound dollar. So this is from the beginning of January. Just trying to look at these sort of things generally when I'm looking. So, you know, what's the bigger picture saying? Where will some stops be? Is there a strong move near the stops that can reach to? So little resistance and that sort of stuff. So this was what I was looking at back on the 6th of January. As you can see, we broke down, took obviously not only those stops out, obviously these stops as well. Did push into this sort of higher demand area here, and price, pushed below into the extremes, you'll see there. Down. I could probably keep playing this because again it's pushed to extremes, and obviously we've been moving along. So look at this 4-hour one as well. So again, I was expecting sort of a test of this supply zone here, maybe see price then push down to demand. We did see price push up into that supply, push back down into this demand, and then it's done its thing. And then this last week, I was looking for price to sort of go into this demand area. I think it did push down into these extremes here before it come back up. And again, you'll see that price did sort of push into these extremes. So that's just a little recap of what I've been doing. As you'll see, I've only got three. Got the dollar index, the pound, and XRP. So let's have a little look at the dollar index first, just to get some overall perspective. So let's just quickly go to the month. We'll just delete everything. So as you'll see, only areas really that are jumping out on the monthly for me, a lot of noise here. So we have got sort of this initial sort of demand down here where price could be pushing into. If that breaks, realistically, we've got some nice demand here. And what I'll start doing is I'll try and start being a bit more consistent with these videos. So what we'll do is we'll just, not delete it, we'll lock in these areas just so they are on the chart and makes it easier when I come back. So that's there, that's there. That's on the monthly. Now, on a weekly, obviously a lot of things have been happening with the old pound at the moment, but as you'll see, we have got price pushing down. You've got this drop base rally area there. Price did sort of push up into this weekly, just depending on how you're drawing your zones, but we've got a couple of areas. So initially, we've got this zone. He says if you can actually draw this zone here, and then at the extremes we've got, you know, this sort of extreme there. So a few things that are giving an indication of where price could go. Why this area? Well, that is the origin of the move up, which broke through these areas here, which I guess if we go into the daily, you can see that we've got this supply zone on the dollar where you've got this whole drop initiated from. So that's where the drop came from, pushing up to the extremes. I mean, this is the extreme of that move. So yeah, that's good. So at the moment, I think we'll see some further downside to the dollar, which means there's going to be some further upside for the pound, and then we could see some more bullish action on the dollar. Now, before you look at the pound, obviously on Friday, it was Brexit. After 3 years, Brexit finally happened, and we left the EU. So now, this could be an interesting time for being a trader, you know what I mean? It could provide some very lucrative opportunities. I mean, just looking on the monthly, you've got a lot of profit margin here. Obviously, you've got this rally zone there. And then on the supply zone, you can see that price has broken this sort of high here. So got this massive monthly rally base drop area there. So it's quite a wide zone in the middle of nowhere on the monthly at the moment. So let's go to the weekly, and we'll just lock in again. Lock these in. So on the weekly, again, I've got a feeling there'll be a lot of stops sat under here just looking at this. Now on the weekly for me, if we're looking at where price has been, we can see we've broken, just draw a quick little ray in, a little black line with that. So you can see we've broken these highs here. We've came and broken these highs here, and price really pushed up into the extreme of this drop base drop supply zone. Where is it going next? Well, I think at the moment, given what's happened, I think the daily is where we need to be looking now. The most obvious place for me, just because of the strength of where a price has fallen, is this rally base drop zone. Could push up, could push a lot higher, but we've got this zone here. So that is initially on the daily where I'd be looking, and again, because we've got this sort of collection here of, well, that's where most people have been going along, that's where your stops are going to be sat, right? So that's providing some liquidity where price could just dip down and push back up. I mean, again, you could almost say we have been ranging inside, you know, from here to here. We've got this whole sort of box where the bodies are that we've been ranging in. So just send that to the back. You know, that's this sort of whole area that we've been ranging at the moment. So it's, I've got a feeling that we could see sort of the 33.5 area, and then on the demand side, the closest area, you've got this demand zone here, but because of the amount of time spent down here, we could see price push through, take out all those stops, and potentially you've got this demand zone here. So it could dip down and go there. Now, consider not only look at the pound, but we can take a bit more time in to see what's going on. Now on the 4 hour, again, we've got a nice, we've got a very nice rally-based drop zone, which hasn't yet been tested. Obviously, you can see that came into this drop-based drop zone here. So I'll just put in a couple more areas that we've got. So you can see this here acted as the point in which price then came down. So we have also got, you know, this here, but again, it's going to be interesting to see what price does when it gets up into this area. So the other area that's really taking my fancy is at the extremes right up here, because, you know, the fact that from here price did break below this massive engulfing candle on the 4 hour, the origin of the move is right up here at the extreme. So again, it could just push through this zone, this whole area here, and just sit up here. So on the 1 hour, what does that look like? We'll just go back. So yeah, there's some nice, you know, some cleaner sort of rally-based drop area up there. But in the meantime, for price, we've had this supply zone broken. So I've got to be honest, we could see price pull back into the extremes down here. That's the origin of the move up. Now, what I found in the last couple of weeks, when we got these sort of double stacked zones, price will always push, or I say always, there's a higher chance the price will push down because it will take more people out that have got stops sat just below here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see price retrace back down to this sort of, call it the 130 area, before moving back up. However, we are very much moving. I think we'll go higher before we go lower first. I mean, and the other thing is, along the way, we're going to have sort of a lot of sell orders sat. Let me just get this. A lot of sell orders sat in and around here, certainly after that big move up. You're going to have a lot of orders that are sort of sat there. You're going to have other people that have been adding orders with their stops around here. I'd probably have there, but again, the most sensible, if you're trying to buy from here, you'd be putting your stops below there, so there's nothing to say price can't go. Look at that nice solid move there. So, and on the way up, we have taken out this area here. We've then taken out this whole area sort of here and here, so I could just draw that candle body there. You know, so all of these orders that would have been stacked, sat waiting, you've taken out this entire zone here. So for me, the only way that price was able to move that strong is because all these orders are taken out. So yeah, I'll wait for Monday to do its thing. If I see some activity in and around the, what's that, 132, 600 to 133 area on the 1 hour, primarily a break of a bullish engulfing setup, then that could be something to look at. On the XRP front, what we've got going on here, so let's again just do a quick recap. So where price is, what we've been doing. So you got that sort of drop base rally that started this whole thing off. So again, we'll just come in and mark these zones in, and you'll see you've got that whole area really where price has come into, so that's good. Becomes a bit clear on the weekly. You've got that drop base. You've got that drop base rally, and this is that sort of zone here where it's all originated from. So, you know, price is pulled in. What do I expect to happen? So, given we're on the weekly, we have got this momentum line that's been broken, which is just here. So, because we've seen price break, origin of that move is down here, so I wouldn't be surprised if price retests this demand zone here. So that puts us back in the 18 to 19, so again it could come back in. What would I want to see before that? If we can break this zone here, so let's change that to blue. We can just break above, so that puts us above 31.53 is sort of the area we want to see price break above. Just lock in all this, I don't lose it. And then yeah, I think that could signal some further upside on the daily. Let's have another quick little look and see what's been going on. And you can sort of see what's happened. So you've got this zone here, price pushed up, pulled back, and then it's moved on up. So at the moment, the most recent origin zone is realistically here on the daily. And this is, you've got to look at all the time frames. So 4 hour. Right, so we've broken that zone. There's been a lot of movement. So again, dare I say it, 24 cents being the the new, let's look at the hour. The hour might give us a better setup. There you go, look at that. So we've had, before we see more downside, I think you've got these two zones here. So potentially I think there'd be good demand sat waiting in around 23.8, 23.6. If that breaks, could be lots of stops sat in and around this general sort of area here from the move. So, and you can see there, that drop, base, rally. So this is a prime. If that goes, this looks like a pretty tasty area to buy from. So I would say a good buy in at sort of 21.5, give or take. Anyway, we'll see what happens in the next week, and I'll come back next week and we'll see how much happened and how much didn't.